So I've been thinking a lot lately about goal setting. It's getting to the end of the year. A lot of people are on a calendar year, so they're going to start setting their goals for the next year. I just recently set my personal goals for the next 10 months. And so I've been thinking about, what are some good methodologies to use? And frankly, there's a million resources out there for goal setting. So I'm not going to make a video today about how to make a SMART goal. I've got some information on my blog and some information on my LinkedIn about some of the elements I use or some of the considerations I make. But I really want to talk about one specific clarifying question that you can use, that you should use when you're looking at goals, especially when you're looking at fundraising goals that are maybe different from one year to the next. So, this is a pretty common occurrence, right? In year one, you raise $1 million through all of your fundraising program, and the next year you get a goal and they say you need to raise $7 million, right? We've all had that. I understand we generally want to creep our goals up year after year because we're accounting for new expenses and we're trying to engage donors in more in different ways. But sometimes the gap, sometimes the jump is really noticeable and really big. And the pushback I like to give is not, are you a crazy person for running a goal like this? Because that's not helpful. But instead to ask, what's different between this year and last year? And when I'm talking about what's different, I'm really talking about two things. The first thing is what's different in our organization. Are we doing something new or visionary or challenging? Are we approaching our cause in a way that's going to give us an opportunity to engage with our donors in a more significant or in a deeper fashion? Are we tripling the number of people we're serving? Are we launching a brand new and exciting program? Are we expanding the reach of our organization? In other words, what is the story we want to be telling that gets us to this new number? That story probably shouldn't be, well, this is what we need. That's not a story that inspires generosity or inspires people to connect with you. So, what is that story? What is different between last year and this year? The other question, and this is a question for you to really consider if you are leading a fundraising team or if you are leading a nonprofit organization, is what's different in your fundraising staff capacity. If your team raised $1 million last year, you're asking them to raise a significant more amount of money in the current or the coming year. You have to ask yourself what's different. Have you given them more resources? For example, well, we've assigned them all a professional coach. We have hired a consultant to help with a new fundraising plan. We have taken all of the non-fundraising materials off of their to-do list and put it on another plate, or we're putting it in a volunteer position. Whatever it is, if you're asking the same people to do a significant increase in the work without increasing their support, their access to professional development, or their ability to really tap into their community in new and exciting ways, then you're actually not only setting the organization up for failure, you're probably opening the door for your staff members to move on. Because in my experience, one of the things that triggers fundraisers to say it's time to move on is when they feel like the goals keep getting higher and their support and their compensation are not matching that growth. So they start feeling like it's never enough. I have to keep doing bigger and bigger projects, more and more work. That is a feeling that can very quickly lead to burnout, lead to walking away, lead to moving on to another organization. And then you, as the nonprofit leader, are stuck with two new problems of trying to make this fundraising goal happen that you've put on the plate and trying to fill a position. And we all know when you're hiring a new fundraising professional, it takes time, sometimes 9 months, sometimes a year, for that person to get really conversant and up to speed and confident in telling your nonprofit story, in talking about your mission, in being that kind of community advocate that you're looking for. So, when you're talking about setting your fundraising goals, you really want to have that conversation about what is different or what's changed from this year to the next, from this year to the next. What is changed in the way we can tell our story? What has changed in the way we can support our staff and help them be more successful? How can we set the groundwork for this growth? because growth is 100% possible. You can do it, and you can do great things, and your donors can do great things with you. But your need alone, or a number on a strategic plan or a goal, that's not going to get you there. What's going to get you there is a story of the future and a story that the donors can see themselves playing a part in. If you'd like to talk about your goals, I'd love to talk about your goals too. In fact, if you reply to this video, send me a message. I would love to have a free consulting call with you where we look at your goals, and maybe there's some tweaks, maybe there's some changes we can make to make them a little more specific or a little more doable or a little more inspiring for your team. That's all for today. Keep up the great work. We'll talk to you soon.